Hello guys! Today I'm going to be doing another yapping video. I wanted to just discuss my opinion on why I think Undertale is a game perfect for, or at least very well received by, neurodivergent people. As a disclaimer, I am neurodivergent myself, and this is not to say that Undertale isn't a game for everyone and anyone, because it absolutely is. For this video, I wanted to just discuss some things about Undertale that may not specifically target neurodivergent people, but end up appealing to them anyways. In no way, shape, or form do I intend to stereotype neurodivergent people either. So, here we go. We're gonna have to start with what neurodivergent people are. So they're individuals with things like autism, ADHD, OCD, or any other neurological condition that affects the way the individual's brain processes information and works on a day-to-day basis. So this means that they have different strengths and weaknesses than neurotypical people do, who do not have any of these, processing conditions. This is why some schools will have accommodations for these people, or that sounded so terrible. These people. For us, bro. So, or why, someone might seek out medication. These things don't make it easier for neurodivergent people. It makes it fair, right? So, Undertale. It has a lot of aspects that appeal to the common traits of neurodivergent people. One of the biggest struggles with obtaining a diagnosis for being neurodivergent is that almost every condition that makes you neurodivergent has overlapping traits. People with autism, for example, they have something called a special interest, and people with ADHD have something called a hyperfixation. They are defined differently and experienced very differently. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but I'm saying it can be pretty hard to tell which applies to you if you are experiencing it in the moment. So for this video, I wanted to use neurodivergent as an umbrella term for anyone with any of these traits or any of these diagnosis or suspected diagnosis to relate to, rather than focusing on one specific condition. So I'm not going to be like, well, this part of Undertale is great for autistic people and this part's great for ADHD. I'm just going to say neurodivergent because the traits are also similar and I want it to kind of appeal to everyone. One of the aspects of Undertale that neurodivergent people may enjoy is the pattern repetition and focus of attention that is found in the battle system. Just to clarify, when I say pattern recognition, in neurodivergent people, this can also refer to their ability to pick up things in social situations, such as repeated behaviors or actions. It doesn't necessarily mean physical patterns like Sans bone jumpy twice loop-de-loop. But I wanted to keep this on my list still because I kind of have a lot to talk about with this. Since enemy attacks in Undertale are pattern related and they require focus and attention to detail, neurodivergent individuals, literally you guys are having we're having a field day playing the game, right? Every character in Undertale has attacks that repeat and details about these attacks to memorize. Neurodivergent people would excel in memorizing these, since memory can also be a very powerful trait for us. Not for me, though. This relates to the idea of hyperfocus. This is another strength that would make Undertale more enjoyable and right up the alley of neurodivergent people. Additionally, the battle system in Undertale appeals to neurodivergent people's rational decision making, with the choices and options found in the game. And now, everything I said so far is kind of broad, and it could be found in most video games, like, oh my god, they give you choices, and you have to fight, but just let me cook, okay? Let me cook. So while we're on the topic of decision making and hyperfocus, this additionally makes the puzzles and secrets of the game appealing to neurodivergent people. Neurodivergent individuals tend to be very good problem solvers, more than neurotypicals are. The fun puzzles scattered throughout all of Undertale can be very stimulating to them. I mean, to anybody, but that's not my main point. The game being ridden with secrets like Gaster and content found in the game's files adds to the reasons why someone who is neurodivergent would greatly love the aspects this game has to offer them. It requires hyper-focus and great attention to detail to get through, and these are some of the things that neurodivergent people are typically excelling in. You know what else is heavily needed in Undertale? Persistence. You know what some neurodivergent people are really good at? Staying determined. It's like Frisk gets more and more neurodivergent every time they save the game. Additionally, we have the concept of gender in Undertale. Non-binary people will feel seen in this game, and there are a few trans characters. Don't worry. We have headcanons for everyone else who isn't canonically trans. I'm talking about you, gender fluid papyrus. Anyways, it is a fact that neurodivergent people see and experience gender differently than neurotypical individuals. If you've ever felt like you didn't understand the reason for neopronouns, or you found some gender labels really odd, maybe you never considered how that's because it wasn't made for you. Having the addition of LGBTQ characters is impactful to make neurodivergent people feel comfortable. Of course, it also just makes any LGBTQ person feel seen and comfortable. However, significantly more people who are neurodivergent are also likely to identify as LGBTQ. This is another way that Undertale accidentally attracted a bunch of neurodivergent people, by being inclusive. Next, we have characters. Someone once brought up how Chris has a lot of neurodivergent traits. And while it's hard to say Chris has autism or Chris has ADHD, and also, yes, I know I'm talking about Deltarune right now, it doesn't mean we can't recognize ourselves in the cast through just their traits we see as common neurodivergent traits. I brought up jokingly in a video once how Papyrus and Sans are like the autism ADHD duo, and I honestly kind of agree with that. Papyrus rambles about puzzles and human capturing, like how I ramble about, well, Undertale. Sans knows obscure information and topics randomly, and is seen bouncing around from job to job a lot. Not to enforce that stereotype that ADHD people can't sit still sort of thing, but I'm just naming this trait here. So the characters are all autistic. I'm really sorry to tell you this, but it is true. I'm just playing. Okay. What I mean is, if I see, myself in a character and they're doing something I do as a neurodivergent person, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're mine now. Someone on Tumblr goes really deep into this. If you want to read their analysis, I'll have it linked in video description. What they bring up is the way that Toby Fox wrote these characters to be treated like neurodivergent people are in the real world. They're called things like childish or different and often isolated, sometimes even not making friends easily. This furthers this sense of relation in seeing yourself in the cast of Undertale. We all want to interact with media that we can relate to. Now, on to further evidence. This is like 75% of a joke, by the way. Or this part, at least. Firstly, I have never met a casual Undertale fan. AKA, we all have had, or currently have, aka me, an Undertale hyperfixation or special interest. Knee deep in the Undertale lore and you're telling me about it, is it casual now? Didn't think so. Number 2, Undertale fans popped off with AUs. Alright, what's this? We couldn't get enough Undertale, we had to make our own? Yeah, okay. Good luck fighting the neurodivergent accusations now. It's a known fact that neurodivergent people sometimes exhibit lateral thinking and increased creativity. So it checks out that we'd, casually create our own version of Undertale. This one's a bit more stretchy, but it's also a fact that neurodivergent people tend to be very tech savvy and interested in things like programming, so this all makes a lot of sense. Also, thirdly, every Undertale AU is gay, so that means you're all gay. And that means there's a good chance at least half of you. I'm so sorry, I just hit my mic. I need to get it together, I need to lock in. So, what the fuck was I saying? Hold up. Every Undertale AU is gay. You're all gay. Half of you have got to be neurodivergent, because what I said previously. Yeah, so that's just statistics, baby. And they say gay people can't do math. Okay. Honestly, that pretty much wraps up all the points I wanted to bring up. I know it's a bit surface level and silly, but I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed. I hope I got my point across. If you did enjoy, subscribe. I'm gonna have some sources and other resources linked in the video description, so check those out, and that's pretty much it. Thank you all for the recent support, as always, and enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week.